guys, welcome to another reading vlog. It is almost the last week of March and we have 7.5 books still to read on my March TBR, 7 of them up here and the half I'm about to talk about. But the point is we have a lot of reading to do and not a lot of time to do it, so we're going to hopefully be reading a lot during this vlog, but we'll see how that goes. Let's get into what I'm planning on reading. So this week I am starting it off currently about halfway through Sky Without Stars by Jessica, Brodie, and Johann Rindell. I'm about 250 pages in and I have a little over 300 left to go. This is a sci-fi story that follows 3 different perspectives, and it's set in this world where there's 3 different estates, and it's kind of like a hierarchy system, and we follow one girl who is 3rd estate, so she is the lowest, and she lives in like the frets or the slums, and she's the quote-unquote working class, and she actually is disguised as a boy and has been for basically her entire life, and she doesn't work honestly like everybody else does. Her family is the leaders of like the big gang in the area, and she steals and cons people for their money and stuff like that in order to make a living. So we follow her. And then we also follow Marcellus, who is a general's son, or a commander's grandson, actually. He's a commander's grandson. He's next in line to become the next commander. He is 2nd estate, so he is way higher than her, but still lower than the 1st estate, which is like the king and queen of the world. And he is set to become the commander. His father was one of the biggest like traitors in their world's history, so he is really like trying to prove himself and show that he's not like his father and that he doesn't care about his father. He isn't going to become a rebel and kill a bunch of people and betray the empire basically. And so we follow him, and then we also follow another girl who doesn't really have an estate. She is actually hidden underground in this sisterhood, almost like nuns, but they're not nuns, but it is a sisterhood, and they are in charge of guarding all of the books that were taken from the first world, which is our world, Earth. And so she is charged in keeping those secret and safe. And so we're also watching her down below, and she's kind of cut off from the world and everything that's going on above it. But we're watching these people as they're all kind of getting tied together, and some of them are trying to start a revolution, and some of them are trying to quell the revolution, and it's super good. I like it so far. Like I said, I'm about 250 pages in. I have about 300 left to go. So this is our main goal for this week, and hopefully we'll get it done so we can get some more of those checked off the list, because again, a lot of reading, not a lot of time to read it. So I do have quite a few things to do today, but my plan, it's all housework, so I don't have to leave. So my plan is to do like a little bit of stuff and then read a little bit, and then a little bit of stuff and then read a little bit, and then read a little bit of stuff and then read a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. My plan is to do something and then read about 20 pages of this book every time. So hopefully we're gonna get quite a bit of reading done. But yeah, let's go get started on that. Good morning, everybody. So it is Monday. It is actually not morning, it's afternoon. I've already been to all my classes today, so yay for that. But I did want to check in. I was able to read a little over 100 pages of this yesterday. I think I'm on 399, so almost 400, which means I have about 160 pages left. But I am loving this book so far. It's really good. Like I said, it's a sci-fi. We're following multiple characters as there's a rebellion. We've definitely hit the section where the plot's starting to heat up. All the characters have met in different ways, and so their stories are starting to intertwine, which is always amazing. Yeah, it's going really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. The characters are great. The backstories that are coming out in this are really cool and really like unique among the characters. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it tonight, because I do actually have one more class that starts in a little under an hour, so I'm going to have to do that, and then I have to go drop something off at work. But yeah, so we have a couple things to do the rest of the night. But other than that, we will be working on homework and reading this. So hopefully we'll see how far we get, but I will let y'all know later. Okay guys, so here's the thing. It is significantly later. It is 10:30 at night, and I have a headache, and I need to take a shower and go to bed because I have an early class in the morning. But I have been working on homework and reading at the same time, so I've been working, like, doing a thing on homework and then reading like 20 pages, doing a thing on homework and reading 20 pages, and it's been working amazing. I have got so much homework done, and I have read so much, but I am on exactly page 500 of this book. I only have exactly 78 pages left, and I think I can finish it tonight. So, before I take a shower and go to bed and do that all fun stuff because my head hurts, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my really good strawberry lemonade that I just got from Sonic while I read the last 78 pages of this book. So, wish me luck. Let's see if I can actually hold out because my head is pounding. But we're gonna do it anyways because it's worth it and we need to get it done. Oh, we need to get it done because we have to film my March wrap-up at the end of this week on Saturday. I have to film that on Saturday in order to get it up on time, and it's Monday, and I've only read, this will be my second book for March, and I need more than 2 books for that wrap-up, so I have to finish this tonight. Like, there's no other option. Like, it has to be done. So, let's get it done. I did it, guys. It's 11:30. And we just finished Sky Without Stars. This book was really good. I really liked it. I think I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I loved the characters. They were super unique, and I liked the way they all entertained or intertwined, and like they knew each other in the past. Like some of them knew each other. A little bit of a spoiler, but some of them knew each other in the past, and then you knew it, but they didn't realize it, and then, you know, it was one of those whole reveal things to them, but we already knew. So that was cool. The rebellion in here was really, like, well set up. I will say one thing about this book is that the plot is really well paced, I think. There's nothing really, like, super huge that happens at any one point in this. It's definitely building up to something really big happening in, like, the next book in the series, or maybe even the one after that. So it's definitely a bunch of build-up, but there's enough, like, small stuff that happens, and it's all easily, like, spaced out, that you're never, like, super bored. It's never info dumping, and you're always just, like, wanting to keep reading because something is always going on. So I think that was really well how they did that. It is written by 2 authors. It is a co-authored book. And I can say I can't tell where one author started writing and where the next author did. Sometimes in books that are co-authored, you can tell, like, that they took turns on chapters. Like, you can tell they have completely different writing styles, and the book doesn't really, like, flow, if that makes sense. But this one, you can't really tell when they're switching, so it flows really well. It just reads like a solid same book. You don't have a switch in styles, really, so it doesn't, like, pull you out of the story. But yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed the politics in here. I like how the world was set up. There's a bunch of, like, gang stuff in here, with her father being the leader of a gang, one of our main characters. A bunch of, like, stealing and conning and yeah, just a bunch of that kind of stuff. There is one pretty, like, gruesome scene when someone gets executed, and it was a little, like, cringe-worthy because of all the description and, like, just the scene that was going on, but it's not, like, super bad. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really loved it. So this officially makes 2 books for the month of March. Yes, we're already on the 22nd, so it's been 22 days, and I've only finished my 2nd book. But that's not important. But yeah, I am going to go take a shower and go to bed because I have an early class in the morning, but tomorrow I will be starting Peter Pan and Kensington Gardens and hopefully finishing it because I only have one class tomorrow, and that is a pretty relatively small book. It's like 100 and something pages, I think, so it shouldn't take me super long. But yeah, that's what we'll be doing tomorrow, and I will see y'all then. Good night. Good morning, my lovely people. So it is Tuesday. It is about noon, and I wanted to check in because it has been a very productive morning. I have done a lot of reading. I have finished Peter Pan and Kensington Gardens by J.M. Barrie. So this book was really short. Like I said, it was going to be last night. It was actually under 100 pages, so it was a quick little fly-through read, which is amazing because now that means I have 3 books that I can talk about during my March wrap-up at the end of this week. But yeah, so that was this. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. It was not terrible, so I'm not going to give it a 1, but it was not like super enjoyable for me. I didn't read it because I wanted to read it. I read it because it was a classic, and I'm trying to read more classics, even though sometimes they're a little boring. But this one is Peter Pan's basically origin story, even though we don't ever go to Neverland and we don't meet like Tinkerbell or anything. It's him when he's a baby and he flies out of his mother's window for the first time and thinks he's a bird, ends up on this island in the Kensington Gardens, and basically decides he wants to be a kid forever because his mom has barred the window and gotten a new child, and so he feels betrayed, and we figure out why he never wants to grow up and he never wants to go back to his family. So it was good. I mean, it's a children's story. It did what it was supposed to. I just didn't enjoy it that much. So I'm giving it a 2 out of 5 stars, but it's done. It's checked off, and yay for that. So I have finished my one and only class this morning for today, so I have nothing else to do for the rest of the day except for homework and reading. So I'm going to do basically the same system I did yesterday because it seemed to work really well. So we're going to be doing that, but we are going to be picking up Princess Charming by Jane Heller. Yes, my copy is very beat up. I got this from my local library back home, and it was literally a free book because if they get damaged books like this, they put them in a box like outside their door, and they're like, hey, go through it, take what you want. Yeah, so I saw this and I was like, it's missing the front cover, but I mean, might as well take it, so I took it. But this follows a lady who was in divorce court, and she met her 2 new best friends there, and every year since then they have gone on yearly vacations together, and this year they are going on a 7-day cruise. And on this cruise, she is going to be looking to find love, and she finds it in the hottest guy she thinks she has ever seen. And so all that drama is going down when they figure out that somebody's ex-wife that is on the cruise ship has been marked for murder, and there's a hitman already on board ready to do it, and so she decides that she's going to take matters into her own hands, become a detective, and try to figure out which hot guy on the cruise is the hitman and how she can save this woman. So yeah, it sounds super fun, super cute, and I'm just ready to read it. So I'm going to go start this. Hey guys, it has been a hot minute since I have talked to y'all. I don't actually remember if it was Tuesday was the last time I vlogged or Wednesday, but it's currently Saturday. It's been a week. I've had some really bad allergies, and I have been feeling absolutely horrible the past couple of days. So my days have been basically me laying in bed sleeping until I have to wake up to get ready to go to work, going to work, and then coming back home, getting in bed, and sleeping until the next day when I have to go to work, and just doing that over and over again. So I haven't really read that much. I haven't really done much of anything, but I'm feeling way better now, and I have about an hour before I have to go to work tonight, and this is the day I'm supposed to wrap up this vlog, so I figured with this last hour we could read a little bit. So I am still reading Princess Charming by Jane Heller. Yes, I know this has no cover on it. That's because it fell off and I haven't taped it back on yet, but here's the cover. It's here. That's what it looks like. It's pretty, yeah. But I'm thinking I didn't give you like an actual update after I started reading this. I think I talked about kind of what it was about, or what I thought it was about, like just from the summary. And then I just kind of started reading it, and I haven't updated y'all since then. I'm currently on chapter 4, so I'm on page 64, and we follow these three ladies. I haven't yet gotten to the point where I can remember their individual names because they really don't mention their names at all. They just kind of go with it. But I haven't gotten their names in my mind yet because I haven't read that much of it, and it's been a while since I read the 60 pages that I did. But it's these three ladies, and they recently all divorced their husbands a couple years ago, and they met in divorce court when they were consoling each other, when they were all crying in the hallway. And ever since then, they have become the best of friends. They're very different. They're different in, like, the way they look, the way they act. Their family lives are different. One of them has kids, one of them doesn't. I think the other one might have a kid, but I'm not sure. They all divorced their husbands for way different reasons. They all have very different jobs, and just like they're completely different people, but they bonded over the fact that they divorced their husbands at the same time, and so now they're best friends. And the way they keep this friendship going is every summer they go on a week vacation with each other. And this year they are going on the Princess Charming, which is a cruise to the Caribbean for 7 days. And so this book opens up, the first chapter is one of their ex-husbands, we don't know whose, on the phone hiring a hitman to get on this cruise with them and take out his ex-wife. But we don't know which husband that was, and we don't know which ex-wife is being targeted, and we don't know who the hitman is. So right now, we're on the cruise. I'm still on day 1. I don't think I've made it to day 2 yet. I think I'm about to make it to day 2. But they've checked in, and they're in their rooms, and they've met quite a bit of, like, guys, and every single one, my brain goes, that's the hitman, but then there's really nothing that's telling me which one's the hitman. But there's so many of them, it could be anyone, and I'm like, man, it's crazy, because it's definitely keeping me intrigued, because I want to know which one it is, and I'm trying to guess, but I just can't. So it's got a good mystery to it so far. But yeah, I'm 64 pages into this. Like I said, I have a little under an hour before I go to work, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some food, and then I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to read as much of this as I can, so that way, right before I go to work, I can go ahead and come in and close out this vlog for the week, because I do have to do that before I go to work. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's see how much of this I can read in about 30 to 40 minutes. So guys, we're back. I am about to go to work. It's been about 30 or 40 minutes, and I wanted to come in and wrap up this vlog. So let's go over everything I was able to read this week. So this week has actually been a really productive, although I did not vlog and I didn't really read the last like 3 days, it has actually been really productive. I'm going to take these off because they're blaring a lot. Despite the fact that I have not read very much in the last 3 days, I actually had a very productive reading week, as I was able to complete 2.5 books, which is awesome because that puts me up to 3.5 for March so far. And yeah, so yay for that. The first book that I completed was the last about, darn, I don't even remember how much it was. Maybe like 300-ish, maybe almost 400 pages of Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brodie and Johann Rindell. I think it feels like it's been forever since I finished this book, even though it's only been a couple days. But I think I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. I really, really liked it. This is a sci-fi, and it follows 3 different characters who are living on this planet, and the Empire, or the, what do they call themselves? They call themselves the Regime, who are the people that are in charge, are really awful people, and they're taking advantage of everybody in the lower estate, which is what one of our main characters is in. And so she's trying to rebel and trying to get off the planet, And then you also follow our other main character, who is second estate, and he is actually the grandson of like the main general of the regime who's in charge, and he is realizing that maybe the regime is not what he thought it was, and maybe he needs to start thinking for himself and really figure out what he believes and if what's going on is right or not. So we're following him, and then we're also following another girl who is part of the main rebellion that has been underground for, excuse you. And then we're following another girl who is part of the underground rebellion, who is part of the main rebellion group that has been underground for the past like 20 something years, I think. And she doesn't realize what she's a part of. And yeah, so we're getting three very different perspectives as people are starting to kind of question what's going on as far as like the government and who's running things and how they're running things. And it's really interesting. I will say there's not like a main, I think I said this earlier in the vlog, there's not a main, the reason I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars is because although it's intriguing and I love the characters and the world is interesting and everything like that, excuse the cat, it really doesn't have a main huge like climax to the plot. There's not like a battle scene or anything like major that happens, I guess. I mean, there's something that kind of happens at the end, but it's nothing that's like super big as far as the overall plot and what's going on. But I know this is only the first book in the series. The second one came out, I think it came out at the beginning of this year, at the end of last year. I just don't have it yet. So it was definitely like building up to something huge that's going to be coming in later in the series. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading the rest of it. But yeah, I finished this one this week. The second book I was able to start and finish this week is way shorter, and that was Peter Pan and Kensington Gardens by J.M. Barrie. It is about the last 100 pages of this book, so this is both Peter Pans in it, and I read the second one because I already read the first one, but I don't think I gave it a 1. I think I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Again, it's been a while, but this is like a Peter Pan origin story almost, but it's weird because like when you think of a Peter Pan origin story, you're like, oh, we're gonna see how he gets to Neverland. We're gonna see how he meets Tinkerbell. No. It starts with him as a baby flying out his window and going to Kensington Gardens and living on this island with the birds, and then he's still like a toddler throughout this entire book, which is weird to me because he plays the flute and he talks in full sentences, and like, are you a baby? Because he's supposed to be like a baby, but he plays like a little flute thing, and he talks to like all the animals and to different people, but he's supposed to be like a baby to like a toddler age, I'm pretty sure, which confuses the heck out of me. Like, what toddler do you know speaks in full coherent sentences and can play an instrument? It just makes no sense. But it's definitely, he goes to this little island, he lives with the birds, and then he's like, oh my gosh, I miss my mom, or he like meets the fairies and stuff, but not Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell's not in this book. And he meets the fairies, and he's like, man, I miss my mom, I want to go back home. And so eventually he tries to go back home, and he figures out that his mom has put bars on the window and has another kid now, and so he feels betrayed. And so then we understand why Peter Pan never wants to grow up and doesn't believe in families and parents loving their kids, as we see in the original Peter Pan story. Yeah, it was weird. It was super short, so I'll give it that. It was a really quick read, but it was just confusing and annoying, and I really didn't enjoy it. So this one got a 2 out of 5 stars, I'm pretty sure. It might have been a 1. I don't know. I said it in the beginning of the video, so go back to that, I guess. And then the third book that I was able to read some of this week is Princess Charming by Jane Heller. I just read about 30 pages of this. I'm now on page 92. We are on day 2 of this cruise. I'm not going to tell you what this is about because I just did that in the clip before this. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Our main character, Elaine, that's the one of the 3 ladies that we are actually getting her perspective. So she's actually the one like narrating the story for us. and she doesn't believe in love. She didn't really want to go on this cruise in the first place. However, she has met a guy, and she is very, very intrigued by him, and she thinks she might be falling in love. So there's that to add to the plot. So yay for that. We still don't know which lady is like has the mark on her to get killed, and we still don't know who the hitman is. But we have some suspects. Like I said, they've met a lot of people that are all a little suspicious. So yeah, it's getting there. That was a really quick 30 pages. I think I read it in like 30 minutes. So definitely a quick read so far, but I will be reading the rest of this next week. So go check out my next vlog if you want to see the rest of this. But yeah, those were the 3 books I was able to read or start reading this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. As usual, I will link all of these books down below in my description. I will also be linking the entire vlog playlist, so if you want to go see any of my other vlogs, definitely feel free to go check those out. I'm also going to be linking my March TBR, so if you want any other description of these books, though that will be in that video. And yeah, that's about all I've got for today. So I will talk to y'all later. Leave me down below in the comments some books that you have been reading recently, as I would love to know, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye!